Hey everyone, it's Sarah from Barre with Sarah, and I'm back today with a tutorial for pretzel. And pretzel is one of my favorite exercises for the glutes, but it's a little difficult to set up and it's subtle. So I thought I would do this tutorial today so you could watch this before I start incorporating pretzel into class, which should be this week or next. Haven't quite decided. So today I'm going to show you how to set up pretzel on the mat, and I'll show it from different angles, so hopefully you get more comfortable with what it looks like. Okay, let's get started. So you don't have to do pretzel on a mat, but I find it useful for two reasons. The first reason is it's going to provide some padding for that working leg. And the second reason is it's going to allow you to have something to line up with to make sure that you're square. So we'll start here with my right leg, and I'm going to bring that leg off of the mat, and I'm going to take the outside of this thigh, and you can't see the edge of my mat, but I'm lined up parallel with that. So I'm perpendicular to this front edge of my mat. I'm going to take this front shin and I'm going to angle it in at about 45 degrees, so about halfway. If you're a little tight, that's okay, don't worry about it. Now this leg is going to be my working leg, and so I've got to get it into position. So I'm going to take my hand to my ankle and I'm going to pick this leg up and move it back. And so right now I'm on that fleshy part of the inside of my knee. Don't worry, you'll be able to see this from another angle. And then I'm going to square that hip off. We'll always start with a few rotations just to get some nice motion. And then I'm going to just pick up and reset. So this is my base move. I'm going to be squared as forward as much as possible. For this other hand, I'm going to just go ahead and take the hand out and I'm going to tent the fingers like this. Some people are really tight in their hips, and I'm going to go off camera, but I'm going to show you anyway. You can also lean out of the move, so you can still keep those little fingers tented, but especially if you cramp, you can lean out a little bit further. Okay, so I'm going to now turn on side so you can see what it looks like from the side. So I don't have a front of the mat to go off, but again, this is my my working leg, and my standing leg, if you will. I want you to see the working one. So I've got the same right leg here. I've angled that shin in, and then I'm going to keep my upper body square to the front, or what's now the front of my mat. I'm going to take my ankle to this left side, hand to ankle. I'm going to pick up the leg, and I'm going to lift it back. So I'll show you again. I was here, and then I'm going to pick it up and lift it back. So I've got that hand to the ankle. I'm going to turn in. So basically, this leg is one unit. So it's not moving. I'm just using that arm to help it rotate at the hip. I'm going to give a little reset. Sitting up nice and tall, and this hand is slightly in front, which you can't see, and it is tented. Okay, so this is kind of our base position for pretzel. So what are we going to be working in pretzel? Well, we're always going to start off with just some nice squeezes. And what are we squeezing? We're squeezing glute max. So squeeze, hopefully you can see the glute working. And I'm holding on to that ankle. Nothing else is changing. I'm just squeezing. We might squeeze with this pointed foot. Move my hand down so you can see. Or we can also squeeze with a flex foot. And when you're squeezing, what I want you to think about is lift, lift, lift. Sometimes, especially when we flex, I'll tell you back, back, back. So I'm not kicking back anywhere. My hand is holding on. So it's just really lighting that glute up. After we do the warm-ups, you have the option to stay here, or as long as your ankle stays above that knee, you can let that other hand go, and then you can tent both of your hands. So nice slide, tent fingers. And then again, I'm pressing back, press back. So you can see it's moving, kind of jumping, but it's not really moving. Or point, point. So that's the action for pretzel. Very occasionally we will lift the knee. It is super, super advanced. So I would say, especially if you're beginning, just start with the knee down. We might do a little hold at the end, and inhale, lift. And as you can see, I'm just about an inch off. For me, I'm a little tight, so I have to lean out of it to lift. Like turn and face you again. So that's the basic setup for pretzel. And then after we finish pretzel, we're always going to do a nice little stretch. So planting that same hand as the standing side, we're going to lift up and over, come back down, and then counter stretch. And that's pretzel. There's one other variation to pretzel, and I'm going to turn the camera slightly. I have a bar, so I'm going to demonstrate a different way to do pretzel if you have a bar. It needs to be a very sturdy bar because I am going to be pushing and pulling on the bar. So if you don't have a support that's very sturdy that you can really grip onto, just do it on the mat. You'll be fine, but I'm going to show you that variation just in case. Okay, so here's my bar. And I would set up pretzel exactly the same way. So here, actually let's do it on the other side, my tight side. So I'm gonna line up that standing side with the outside of my mat. My shin is angled in, and wow, this hip is tight. So it's gonna be a lot tougher. So I'm gonna take this leg back. I'm gonna rotate forward and back like I normally would. So let's say I've done that forward and back. If I have one hand only, I'm gonna grip onto the support. I'm gonna pull straight down. This is why it's important to have a very sturdy support. If I was pulling at an angle, this whole bar would move, and that's no good. So if I only have one hand, I'm gonna pull down. And then I'm doing my squeeze, my glute squeeze. Okay, and now let's say I'm strong enough to keep that foot up. I'm gonna take the working side and I'm gonna push. So pull and push. Nice and secure. Ooh, I love it. So that's a modification if you happen to have a bar or another really, really strong support that you can put force on. Again, this bar is pretty sturdy because I'm grounded, and the pushing and pulling is gonna balance that force. But again, it's not fully secure, so you need to know your support and you need to trust it and know that you can use it for something like this. Otherwise, you pretzel on the mat. Okay, so that was a quick tutorial of pretzel. Know that it's subtle. It might not feel like a lot when you're doing it, but I promise you, as soon as you hit it the next day, delayed onset muscle soreness will hit you and you will feel it. So thanks everyone. I look forward to seeing you in a bar class soon. Bye.